Hello, intermediate magnet class. I wanted to make this little video just to kind of talk a little bit more about what we've been doing in the class, kind of explain a little bit more maybe what might not make sense. So I wanted to talk about Jingle Bells, which is what we've been working on, and I wanted to talk more a little bit about the tablature part down here, kind of try to explain this a little bit better. Maybe it'll make more sense without maybe so much noise. So the idea here is if you see all of these numbers that are on these lines, those numbers are telling us which fret we're supposed to play. And the point being is that even if you don't know what the notes are, and we'll eventually, for some of us, we'll get better at reading these notes, we'll learn a few more notes along the way, but in case we don't know what the notes are, these basically, the tablature down here basically tells us how to play the notes. So if we look at all of these numbers that are up on top here, the first bunch of numbers, they're all on this top line over here. That top line is representing that first string, the first string being that one at the bottom here, right? So when we see all of these zeros up on the top line, what they're asking for is every time you see this, we're playing the first string without having to press down anywhere, just that open string. So if we look at those first there are 3 zeros in the beginning, it's just that first string at the bottom played 3 times. 1, 2, 3, right? And then we get that in the next measure as well. If we take a look at our sheet again, we get 0, 0, 0 on the first string, and then 0, 0, 0 also on the first string. And then if we look over here, we get 0 and then 3. So now we get a different number. It's still on that top line. It's still that same line. And so what this is telling us is to press down on the 3rd fret of the first string, right? So fret 1, 2, and 3. This is fret 3 of that first string. And again, still just playing that one at the bottom. And then if we take a look right after that, we get numbers, but they're on that line below that top line. This means that we have switched to a different string. In this case, all these numbers were on string 1. These numbers are going to be on string 2. So if string 1, again, is the one at the bottom, string 2 is the one right above it. And if we look at the two numbers that we have here, we get a 1 and then a 3. Those are both on string 2, and so I'm looking for the first fret of the second string, and then the 3rd fret of the second string. And that's how the tablature works. It shows us how to play those notes. Now, it doesn't always give us the rhythms. As you can tell, there's no rhythm here, but if we look at the notes, this is where we get those rhythms. So we have these quarter notes, and we'll talk more about rhythms as we go along. The quarter notes that last for 1 beat. The circles with the stem, the open circles, those are our half notes that last for 2 beats. And then we have our circle like this one over here without the stem that lasts for 4 beats. And so, we'll talk more about rhythms as we go along. I think most people know the tune, so you can kind of hear it. So what I'm going to do now is hopefully this explanation of the tablature kind of makes sense in terms of how all of that works, in terms of which string, which fret to play, etc. And so I'm going to play this for everybody. I'm going to play it really slowly so you can see this. Here's the whole thing. Here's Jingle Bells. One thing else I want to point out, notice how when I'm pressing on the first fret, I'm using my first finger, my index finger, and that when I go to the third fret, I'm using my ring finger, my third finger. That allows me to not have to shift around with my hand a lot. So hopefully that video makes sense, and we'll keep practicing it and getting better at it.